Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to start an exciting new series on the Dell PowerEdge XE9680. In this video, we're going to specifically focus on processors, but in the video series as a whole, we're going to cover CPUs, memory, drives, network cards, GPUs most importantly, supported operating systems, how to update your BIOS, how to do mass updates, plus a bunch more. So click that like, smash that subscribe. Let's get going. Hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge XE9680. In this video, we're going to specifically focus on processors. So what we're going to do in this video as a whole, first off, we're just going to cover some general information. Then we're going to show you some of the CPUs that we recommend, but more importantly that NVIDIA recommends. And then we're going to show you how to physically install the CPUs. So let's just hop into the fun stuff. And hey, if you're looking for any H100s or H200s, whether that's Dell or HPE Cray or Supermicro or Gigabyte or Zeus or whatever the case may be, we would love the opportunity to earn your data center's business. So please email our team at sales@cloudninjas.com. Whether you're looking to buy or sell them, we're a great hub and we keep these in stock. We keep a ton of H100s and H200s. Some of our favorite systems on the use side right now. So definitely email us and we'd love the opportunity to work with you. All right, so let's start with some general information. So first off, there are two CPUs inside. It's an LGA 4677, or as the cool kids would say, an LGA 4677. Yeah, I don't know, I don't get that, but it's a 4677 socket, and that means you're going to take Intel Xeon 4th or 5th gen Scalable. So if you're using 4th gen Scalable, that's going to max out at 56 cores, and if you're using 5th gen Scalable, that's going to max out at 64 cores. All right, so what CPU does NVIDIA recommend? And really there's a few of them, but the 8570 is definitely one of the preferred. It's a 56-core CPU, still gets you 2.1 gigahertz. It's some of the faster ones when you start getting up, like, once you get to the 56 core and then you want to jump to the 64 core, it's going to go to like 1.9. So you're going to, sacrifice a little speed for some more cores. So probably one of the reasons it's recommended. You also have some other popular ones like the 8462Y, which is going to be a 32 core, and it is 2.8 gigahertz. You have the 8562Y Plus as well. Both of them are Plus, I should have said on the first one. Both of them are Plus, and that's also 2.8 32 core. The difference is when you get to those 5th gen Scalable, that's when you get the Intel confidential compute, which is important for some folk. For some folk it's not as important, but that's one of the advantages when you get the 5th gen Intel Scalable versus the 4th gen. So figured I'd point that out, but here's a compatibility chart that we have for Dell as a whole. That's just going to show all the compatible CPUs, and again we name some of the ones that we in particular like and that NVIDIA likes more importantly. All right, so now let's get to the fun part. Let's show you how to remove your old processor and install your new one, or let's just say you had a bad one, maybe you want to upgrade, whatever the case is. So we'll show you how to install the CPU right now.
Hey, this is Mason with Cloud Ninjas, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly remove and install a new processor into your Dell PowerEdge XE9680 server. Okay, so as you can see, we have our ESD gear on, and the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and point out the materials that we have. We have our new tube with thermal paste right here. We have our clean rag. We have our processor. And we have a T30-bit screwdriver. All right, so let's go ahead and take these and set them to the side, pop our latch, and lift our top just like any other server you've been in before. So the first thing you'll notice when you open up your server is that there's these cooling fans right here. So we're going to go ahead and take these two blue levers on the side, lift it up, and then we're just going to go ahead and lift these cooling fans up and out of the server and then set them to the side. Next thing you'll notice is this air baffle right here above the heat sinks, and this is going to be really easy to remove. All you need to do is just kind of like a hinge, lift it up and then straight out of the server. As you can see, we have our two heat sinks on top of our server. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your T30-bit screwdriver and you're just going to go ahead and begin unscrewing the heatsink from the motherboard. So we're going to start on this corner right here, then go across in like an X formation to the next one, and we're just going to unscrew it little by little just to make sure that we don't damage the motherboard or the processor that the heatsink is sitting on. So just be careful and make sure you unscrew the heatsink in an X formation. It's going to be kind of like changing your tire and removing the lug nuts from the tire. So basically the same process, just make sure you're being gentle as possible and not damaging that motherboard. After you get that last screw unscrewed, we're going to go ahead and take our T30 bit and set it to the side. Then we're going to place our index and thumb on the two metal tabs that are on both sides of the heatsink, and then just press them inward, and then we'll be able to actually lift it straight up. And so as you can see, the processor is attached to the heatsink via a bracket. So let's go ahead and take this to the side and show you guys how to actually remove it from the bracket. So to the side of the server, we're going to take a look at this lever right here. And all you need to do is simply just push the lever up, and then that will release the processor from the bracket. And so then we can take this processor and just easily slide it out of these pegs that are holding it into place. So as you can see, that is the old thermal paste that is on the heatsink and the processor. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this bracket from the heatsink. Now there's these pegs on the bracket that are keeping it in place on the heatsink. So all you need to do is just gently bend that plastic peg back on each of the corners, and then that will make sure that the bracket actually comes off of the heatsink. All right, so once those pegs are popped, you can just easily set it to the side, and now we're going to go ahead and take our clean rag and then start cleaning this old thermal paste from the heatsink and the processor. Typically we like to clean the old thermal paste off to the side of the server and not over the server. See, if you clean the old thermal paste over the server, that old thermal paste just flakes off and it'll get into the DIMM slots or that CPU socket, and it'll damage the motherboard, and you don't really want to get a replacement motherboard for this server in particular. So just make sure that you're cleaning all that old thermal paste off the heatsink and processor to the side of the server, so that way it doesn't result into an RMA issue. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and clean the old thermal paste from the processor like so. Alright, so now that we have that old thermal paste cleaned off the heatsink and the processor, let's go ahead and take a look at our bracket. As you can see, there is a triangle that's cut out here, and it's going to actually match up to the indented side over here in this corner. So just make sure you set the bracket like so, where the triangle and the indented side are on the same corner, and there you go. So that way you can make sure that the triangle and the indentation are both at the same corner. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and uncap our new tube of thermal paste and apply the thermal paste to the processor. Typically this starts a war in the comment section. Some people say we use too much, some say we use too little, but just make sure that you're finding a nice even balance of thermal paste, because you don't want to put too much or else it'll press onto the heatsink and leak out and get into the DIMM slots or the motherboard or the socket, and it'll just be a really big headache. So just make sure you're putting a nice even balance of thermal paste on the processor. So let's go ahead and take our processor with the thermal paste on it, making sure that this triangle is going to line up with the triangle on the processor, and we're easily just going to slide it into these pegs that we actually slid it out of earlier. We're just going to make sure that the pegs on all sides are securing the processor to the heatsink. Alright, so now that the processor is secure to the bracket, we're just going to go around and check and make sure that it's fully secure, and as you can see, we have it all secured and ready to go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go back into our server. Alright, so now that we're back into our server, let's go ahead and take our heatsink and processor and just gently set it back into the socket. We can go ahead and take the metal tabs that are over the screws and actually push them outward, and that will secure the heatsink down. So all we got to do now is take our T30-bit screwdriver and just go ahead and screw the heatsink back to the motherboard in that X formation that we were talking about earlier, so that way we don't damage the motherboard. And there you go, you've done it. You've successfully installed a new processor into your Dell PowerEdge 9680 server. Hey, do us a favor, click that like button and smash subscribe. If you're looking for any custom built Dell, HPE, Supermicro, Zeus, Gigabyte, we do it all. We have both new and refurbished, and we also are doing GPU servers now as well. Make sure you contact us at sales@cloudninja.com. That's sales@cloudninja.com. Anyways guys, thanks for stopping by.